Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, At Home with Willowberry. Or if you're new, welcome. But where have you been? I'm so happy to see you here. My name is Valerie, and in today's video, I'm tending to my garden. And then I need to pressure wash the front porch. Spring is in full bloom and there's a layer of pollen covering all the surfaces on the front porch. So we're going to get it cleaned up on this beautiful day here in the Virginia mountains. So if you'd like to see what I've been up to, then I hope you'll stick around and enjoy the video. How are you all doing today? I sure hope you're having the best day ever wherever you're watching from in this great big old world of ours. We're doing good. We're just trying to get back in the swing of things since getting back home from our spring break vacation to Tennessee. The boys have about a month left of school and we've got company coming to town for our oldest son's graduation. So we've been trying to get the house in order, and a big part of that will be cleaning up the front porch. But first I need to water my garden. So far, I've got strawberries, onions, cabbage, and collards growing down in the garden patch. This weekend, we will be planting some tomato and yellow squash. Since our last video, we have planted 5 new fruit trees down in our orchard. So now we have a total of 13 fruit trees. We have 3 peach, 3 plum, 5 apple, and 2 cherry trees that we've planted this spring. And so far, they all look great. We're still working on the chicken run. It won't be long before our baby chicks will be ready to go outside, and we'll need a safe place for them to live once they outgrow the tub that they're living in at the moment. But Tim went and pulled a muscle, so we had to pause work on the chicken run for the time being. So I figured this would be as good a day as any to go ahead and pressure wash the front porch. Alright y'all, I'm just going to go ahead and finish watering the garden, and then I'm going to head back up to the house. I tell you what, the front porch is a mess, y'all. Every surface is covered in pollen, so my plan today is to pressure wash and spruce up the porch. The first thing I need to do is clear off the porch and blow away the leaf debris from the oak tree that grows near the porch. Once I finish spraying the porch and siding with the cleaner, then I'll be ready to start pressure washing. The last time we pressure washed the porch, I had to use the hose bib that was located in the laundry room, as we didn't have one on this side of the house. Well, thankfully, Tim was able to crawl up under the mobile home and attach a new hose bib just off the front porch. Having a hose bib on this side of the house will make it so much easier to water the flowers I have planted up on the porch. And if we get long enough hoses, we can also use the new hose bib to water the garden. Right now we have about 500 gallons of water stored down at the garden shed. But should we have a drought this summer and the storage tanks go dry, at least we'll still have a way to get water to the garden. I can't get over how much pollen there is on this porch. The pollen was extreme this year. I feel so bad for Tim and the boys. They all have seasonal allergies, and the pollen has been rough on them. I don't remember it being this bad last year, and I'm hoping that it's settled down now. Well, y'all, we're getting behind in our renovation since we took time off to work outside this spring. And although I'm anxious to get back to work on Granny's bathroom, I must say we've accomplished quite a bit this spring. We mulched the whole garden patch and planted a vegetable garden. We also planted an orchard. Tim rented a tractor and dug up a ton of old tree stumps and fixed our driveway. We also bought a chicken coop and 16 baby chickens, which is a dream come true for me. We've just about finished all the outdoor work for this spring. We just have to finish securing the chicken run, and then we'll be ready to get back to work on renovating Granny's bathroom. Alright, y'all. I finished washing the upper level of the porch. So now it's time to put everything back where it belongs so that I can pressure wash the lower level. I just adore the view of the mountains from this front porch. We have plans to wrap the porch all the way around the back side of the house, which will overlook the barn and pasture, the chicken coop, and the mountains beyond. But that project is way off in the future. We really want to finish renovating inside the house first. I tell you what, we have so many plans for this old mobile home. Sometimes it feels like it's taking forever to get it renovated, but I just keep reminding myself all that we've accomplished in the 2 years we've lived here, and then I get excited for what the future holds. Well, the porch is finally clean. It feels so good to have all that pollen washed away. Now when our family comes to visit, we'll have a nice place to sit and hang out and relax. Now it's time to water my porch flowers. We would usually fill water bottles up in the kitchen sink and water the flowers that way, but now that Tim has installed a new hose bib, it will be so much easier to water them. Well, y'all, I guess that's about it for another video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a great week, and I can't wait to talk to you again real soon. Bye, y'all.